So the other day, as I'm mentally getting in a space to come on this trip, I get a text and then a phone call from Pastor Jeff Morris. Now, Pastor Jeff Morris, pastor of Rhythm Church in Oceanside, California, a good friend of mine. And he hits me up and says, hey, someone dropped out. We need to replace someone going on this trip.
So I get a call from Raj that morning. Says, hey man, one guy had to drop, green card issues. Do you know anyone that wants to go? So I start going through my pastor friends, people I know, love. I end up calling Sean. We have this whole long conversation. We start with who should go. Then at the very end, he goes, oh yeah, you know what? There's this guy, Mike. He's a pastor out in New York, but he's with Rue. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I call you.
I'm like, dude, it's 72 hours out. Who is gonna be able to go? He's like, I know, I've called every single pastor friend I have, but we got this open slot. And he said, what about Pastor Mike Signorelli? And I said, oh, I just had Pastor Mike on.
So I'm getting ready to fall asleep. I'm scrolling through my phone. All of a sudden I see Ruslan's calling. And of course,
which by the way, it was late. It's like,
it was late.
It was like 7 p.m. my time.
Yeah. So maybe like close to midnight my time.
Yeah. Well, I was on live. Bung, bung, bung. And Jeff is like, hey man,
you called me while you were live?
I was live, dude. And so Jeff is like, hey, a spot open up. I hit mute. And I was like, wait, guys, I'm live on YouTube, but I was like, I got a call. So I pick up your phone on live. And then I'm like, let me just try. I was like, let me just try him. There's no way he's going to pick up.
So and I'm laying there looking, I'm like dozing off, looking at my phone. It says Ruslan. I'm like, Ruslan, what do you want? He's like, hey, bro, go to Israel with me Tuesday. And I was like, what? He goes, I'm on live. I got to go. Bye. And he hangs up.
Sorry for the late start. We are trying to coordinate with our Israel group. And I just found out that someone else might be joining us. So
I was like, I'm gonna start a group text with you guys.
It felt like a James Bond mission. Then the next day after I committed to this trip, I woke up that morning and I was like, I had this crazy dream that like Sean Cannell and Ruslan are asking me to go to Israel. And then I'm like, it's real.
And now here we are.
Here we are in Israel.
In Israel.
Why do you feel like it was providential?
I felt like it was providential because I'm in a transition right now, a good transition, you know? So I felt like it's a reset, get some instructions for the next season kind of thing. I need to take a couple of days. I literally said that. I need to take some days, get away from everybody, hear from God. And then they were like, I don't know when it would happen, maybe in 2023. And then it was like, Ruslan, hey, go to Israel next week.
Cool. He was able to stop all of his plans. He pastors the fastest growing church in America, by the way, 3 years in a row, fastest growing church in America. But to be able to say, I need to call an audible in what I have planned. Proverbs 19:21 says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. I've been thinking about that verse in my own life. I've been thinking about when things like this come up that yes, they're big and they're magnificent, but am I willing to call an audible? Am I willing to change plans? Am I willing to be flexible on my feet? On my way to New York, right? Because I had to fly from San Diego to New York. My JetBlue flight got delayed. And in the process of the JetBlue flight getting delayed, I was actually presented an opportunity to go talk to Eric Thomas at the airport. Now, Eric Thomas, arguably one of the best motivational speakers of our generation.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim.
And so initially I saw him, I didn't want to bug him and I didn't want to be late to my flight. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna leave him alone. But then my flight got delayed. Turned back around, said what's up, chopped it up. He checked me out on Instagram. We might be doing a collab. That would be crazy, right? But being willing to be flexible in the moment, not being in your own head. And then check this out. My flight ended up getting delayed and I had to rebook my flight on Alaska Airlines. I was coming on a JetBlue. It got so pushed out that I had to, in the moment, call an audible up until a few minutes before I could book the flight, rebooked the flight, and I was able to make it to New York on time to shoot the podcast that you guys saw with Rufat. And so the ability to be flexible, the ability to know that we could have plans in our hearts, but ultimately it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. Are we being submitted to God's purpose in every endeavor? God's purpose for our families, God's purpose for our finances, God's purpose for our fitness, God's purpose for our rest even, God's purpose for our church life, community, devotional, all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool to see a little microdose of that in my life on my way coming to New York to get to Israel, and then to see Pastor Mike being able to call that and exemplify that in real time for me. So shout out to Pastor Mike Signorelli. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and some of the conversations that we're having, check out this video over here where me, Pastor Jeff, have an intervention of sorts with my atheist, agnostic, comedian friend that used to be a Christian rapper, Rufat. I think you'll really enjoy it, all right? I'll see you over there. He'll be over here. Peace.